This week on Eagan AM.
It's time to celebrate, St. Patrick's style.
Irish dancing.
Your official insight into NCAA brackets with the WCR.
Live from Studio 1A, this is Eagan AM.
Good morning, I'm Elsie Gorin.
And I'm Tommy Edelman.
St. Patrick's Day is this Saturday, and even though many of us aren't from Ireland, many of us enjoy celebrating the holiday. To help you take part in the festivities, here are some traditional Irish foods you may want to try or make this weekend.
Two popular Irish dinners are, number 1, an Irish stew.
This combination of meat and vegetables is a classic native dish.
Number 2 is shepherd's pie.
This meat pie with a mashed potato crust is a hearty meal found all over Ireland. For those who like sweets, we're on to the desserts. Number 1 is porter cake.
Porter cake is an Irish twist on a traditional fruitcake. And number 2 is potato candy.
Although this does not contain real potatoes, it is most popular among Irish immigrants. Venture out and try some of these Irish cuisines.
The EHS food drive began on Wednesday. Bring in canned food items to your PAWS classes before the deadline on Tuesday of next week.
Each food item brought in is 1 point, and each dollar donated is 2 points. The 3 winning PAWS classes will get a free breakfast on Wednesday.
Irish dance is an iconic symbol of Ireland, and its popularity continues to grow in the United States.
We interviewed EHS student Hannah Reichenbach to understand its appeal.
With St. Patrick's Day coming up, people have been more and more involved in Irish traditions. One such tradition is Irish dancing. Since we don't know much about Irish dancing, we thought we could use some knowledge from a first-hand source. We interviewed Hannah Reichenbach to learn more.
I dance with the Rinconacree Irish dancers, and Rinconacree is in Gaelic language, and it means dance of the heart.
It uses tap shoes, right?
They're kind of like tap shoes, but they have different parts on the toes and the heels. So it's basically the same. We have about 100 performances year-round all over the Twin Cities and the Midwest. Actually, we travel a lot. But this weekend on St. Patrick's Day especially, we have between 30 and 40 performances just this weekend. And so this Saturday and Sunday we will be performing at the Landmark Center. I got involved when I was like 5 or 6 years old, and I went to the St. Patrick's Day parade in St. Paul, and I saw some of the Irish dancers and I liked the wigs, so I wanted to try it out. So I've been doing it for like 11 years now. My class, or all the advanced classes at my studio, have practices 2 or 3 times a week for a couple hours at a time. So I'm probably at my studio for around 10 hours a week. It's definitely a little bit faster, and we use different types of shoes. They're kind of like tap and ballet, but just a little bit faster. And we use different muscles in our legs, so our legs are definitely a lot stronger than our arms.
Signing off for Eagan AM, I'm Ethan Estrom.
At the end of the show, we'll have Hannah and 3 of her friends close, showcasing their talents.
Last weekend, members of the EHS speech team competed in their national qualifier tournament.
Congratulations to the following individuals for qualifying in their respective categories:
Jason Scheller, Elsie Gorin, Jack Bouchard, Charu Ramesh,
Emily Albert-Stauning, Divya Mowley, and Trom Nguyen.
Congratulations on qualifying.
Thank you.
Senior Trom Nguyen was also awarded the Southern Minnesota District Student of the Year Award.
Wish them luck as they head to nationals in Fort Lauderdale this summer.
On Wednesday, roughly 350 students from all grades walked out as a show of solidarity with students of Parkland, Florida.
We met up with the student organizers afterwards to get their insight into the protest.
So this protest is in support of gun control, and it's a push to try to get more legislation to support gun control. However, the goal of this protest was we wanted numbers. We want to show how many people are in support of that, because that's going to create more of an impact when talking to actual legislators. And we didn't want to divide people. We have about 6 people who are organizing this protest.
It was a lot of fun and a lot of work, but it was very fulfilling.
National demonstrations are also planned for March 24th and on April 20th, the 19th anniversary of the Columbine High School massacre in Colorado.
Were you able to make it out for the protest?
I was, yeah. Did you go?
Yeah, I was flying the drone.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Let's pass it over to Allie for a little Irish fun with her special guest.
Every country has its own slang, and even regions within that country have their own special vocabulary. A quick U.S. example is the word that we use in the Midwest, pop. On the East Coast, it's soda, and on down south, it's called Coke. We couldn't find a direct descendant from Ireland, but we did find a teacher who is married to one. So welcome, Ms. Corbett, to tell us about your connection with Ireland.
Oh, okay. So my husband is from a little town called Glanmire, and that's in Cork, which is in Southern Ireland.
Sweet, awesome.
Right.
So can you tell us any like fun Irish slang that you've learned and like could use?
I sure can. So first of all, let's clear this up right away. Don't ever go to Ireland and say top of the morning to you unless you want to get called an Egypt Yank or maybe even something worse. But I'm going to tell you a few words that might actually be useful. So first of all, I'm going to consult my notes here so I don't forget. First, insults. Irish people, really good at them, particularly people from Cork. Most of them pretty school unfriendly. I'm going to give you a few that you'll only offend a few people. A culchie is a person who is basically from the country, like a rural person. It's an insult. It's kind of like if you said redneck or hillbilly. You might call somebody from outstate a culchie if you're being mean. Second, a messer. Very useful word if you're in high school. A messer just basically means an incompetent fool who never really does anything right. So again, fairly useful. And then finally, you could call someone a chancer. A chancer is somebody who's always cheating, right? Trying to cheat their way through things, kind of like a scammer. Again, fairly useful. And the last one is crack. It doesn't mean what you think it means. It's spelled C-R-A-I-C, and it actually just kind of means fun. And you could say, what's the crack? Meaning, what's happening? Or you could say, that'll be good crack. Sounds bad, just means that'll be fun. She's good crack, he's good crack. So, sounds weird, again, but use it, people will understand you. So that's it. So do yourself a favor, Google Irish slang, or even better yet, Cork slang. Just don't tell your parents I told you to. I don't want to get those emails.
Awesome. Well, perfect. That's really cool. So back to you guys. Thanks.
As St. Patrick's Day approaches, so does March Madness. It's time to throw it over to Michael Melville for some WCR predictions.
For many of us, it's the best time of the year, March Madness, and it starts today. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, this is one of the biggest sporting events in America, and Americans will bet roughly $10 billion on it. We'll go through what the WCR has decided should be the Elite 8, Final Four, and champion. Virginia is the #1 overall seed with a record of 31-2, and our first pick for the Elite 8. They're an easy pick because of their good defense and solid scoring options. They won the ACC regular season and conference tournament, so look for them to make a long run in the tourney. Cincy is our next pick for the Elite 8 with a record of 30-4. They also won their conference in the regular season and conference tournament. In the West region, we have Xavier and North Carolina Tar Heels making it to the Elite 8. Xavier comes into the tournament with a record of 28-5, as senior JP McCura from Lakeville North High School has really improved over the last 4 years and has become a star for the Musketeers. Watch for them to make a deep run and possibly win the tournament. UNC comes into the tournament with a record of 25-10. Don't overlook the Tar Heels because of this record though, as their strength of schedule is one of the highest of the teams in the tournament. In the East region, our two Elite 8 teams are West Virginia and Purdue. West Virginia is a 5 seed this year, and we have them picked to upset Villanova in the Sweet 16 to advance. Purdue, on the other hand, is a 2 seed and the 7th best team in the tournament. Their size will be tough for other teams in the tournament to match up against, so we like their odds. Last but not least is the Midwest region. Our two teams are Kansas and Michigan State. Kansas is 27-7 on the year and fresh off a win in their conference championship. Michigan State comes into the tournament with a record of 29-4, with a few bad losses that kept them on the 3-line for seeding. Moving on to our Final Four, we have Cincinnati beating Virginia out of the South, North Carolina beating Xavier out of the West, Purdue over West Virginia out of the East, and Kansas out of the Midwest over MSU. On to the championship, we believe that the Cincinnati team is one of the best that they've had in years, but North Carolina has a veteran leader that will help keep composure in the big games. In the end, though, we believe that Cincinnati will win this game and go on to the championship. On the other side of the bracket, Purdue would have to play Kansas. Purdue has a lot of size, but we believe Kansas is way more skilled and will beat Purdue with ease on their way to the championship game. That just leaves our championship game between the Bearcats of Cincinnati and the Jayhawks from Kansas. If this game is played, it will be a nail-biter all the way to the end, but we believe that Kansas will pull it out again because of their skill and discipline on the court and become national champs for the 4th time in school history. Make sure you guys fill out your brackets before the deadline at 11:15 today. That's all for our rundown of the NCAA tournament. Back to you guys.
I'd like to remember Stephen Hawking, probably the best known theoretical physicist of our time.
One of his inspiring quotes was to his 3 children: remember to look up at the stars and not down at your feet. We close with members of Rinka na Cree to get us in the spirit of St. Patrick's Day.
Have a great week, Wildcats.
to motivate